to tax reform in Nigeria. Plus on the news, Dr. Loki Aiyedatiwa and his deputy, Dr. Laide Adelami, are inaugurated as governor and deputy governor of Ondo State for the next 4 years. From the international scene, Germany's Friedrich Merz pledges to achieve independence from the United States after its center-right alliance won parliamentary elections. Details of these and more coming your way soon. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now details of the news. Nigeria took a step closer on Monday to conducting a new national population and housing census with biometric and digital components. President Bola Tinubu, at a meeting at the State House with officials of National Population Commission (NPC), said government would set up a committee to align the census budget to the government's present financial realities. He said the National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) must be part of the review. He reiterated his commitment to ensuring accurate and reliable figures from the national census to strengthen development, planning and improve Nigeria's living conditions through more efficient social security. President Tinubu noted the government incentives such as the sale and distribution of fertilizers could be easily improved with more reliable data and demographics. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Atiku Bagudu, said that the census data would be central to future planning and resource distribution. In his presentation, NPC Chairman Kwara said the last census took place in 2006 and 19 years later, the figures were no longer relevant in planning, particularly for key sectors that directly impact the population. President Bola Tinubu said on Monday in Abuja that the federal government will continue to prioritize development of the digital economy to enhance youth empowerment and job creation. The president made the pledge while receiving a report titled Digital Economy, Youth Empowerment and Sustainable Job Creation in Nigeria, Issues, Challenges and Opportunities, presented by participants of the Senior Executive Course 46 National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Guru. In their 8-point recommendation, the course participants urged the federal government to expedite the enactment of the Digital Economy and E-Governance Bill 2024 and encourage state to waive the right-way fees on the deployment of telecom infrastructure. Responding, President Tinubu directed the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy to coordinate with the group and present their recommendations to the Secretary of the Government of the Federation and Head of the Civil Service for streamlined implementation. Professor Ayo Motayo, the Director General of NIPSS, said during the year-long engagement, course participants undertook study tours across Nigeria and abroad, exploring the theme of the study. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, announced that the Digital Economy Bill, currently before the National Assembly, will undergo public hearing in all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory before its passage in the second quarter of 2025. According to him, this is the first time legislation which will be subjected to such an extensive review.
Core of our administration, we set the priority since we started to empower our youths. We are not going to relent on that. We need the collaborative efforts of everybody here. The recommendation I've listened diligently and carefully to the thorough work you've done.
These efforts, alongside strategic initiatives such as the 3 million technical talent jobs program, the Nigeria Data Protection Act to safeguard digital transactions, and the establishment of Presidential Council on Digital Economy and E-Government have demonstrated a firm commitment to empowering the next generation of Nigerian innovators and job creators. The National Institute, sir, has followed with keen interest the proactive steps your administration has taken to harness the immense potential of the digital economy.
Moving on to other stories. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has emphasized the need for a unified approach to tax reform in Nigeria, highlighting that the challenge extends beyond merely passing new laws. Senator Akpabio also declared that 70% of Nigerians are not paying tax, despite high expectations from government. Correspondent Kolojo completes the story.
The stakeholders meeting on the proposed tax bills organized by the Senate Committee on Finance brought together stakeholders in the Nigerian economy. Speaking at the opening session of the event, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio stressed the importance of collaboration among federal, state and local governments as well as the private sector and civil society to create a tax system that benefits everyone.
Keep on doing the same thing over and over. You will never know the advantage of the form. Today, we choose to leave behind outdated tax practices and bureaucratic bottlenecks, spreading its wings over the tax administration in Nigeria. So we must begin to think out of the box to bring up a robust, transparent, and a conducive environment for government to bring revenue. The public hearing here.
The Minister of Finance and Coordination of Economy, Wale Edun, also expressed support for the bill and suggested that coordination between the Senate, tax authorities, and the state officials will be beneficial.
Payment of tax. The two are linked. And that's why there is need now for this all-important reform as part of Mr. President's economic agenda. It's a bold step and not a bold step because we are witness to the reforms that have been made over the last 20 months or so, the macroeconomic reforms, and we can all see the progress that has been made, the success.
Earlier in his remark, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance emphasized that the key objective of the process is to gather the best perspectives from stakeholders before finalizing the bills. He noted that these reforms are not only about efficiency, but also creating a more coordinated tax and business system.
This public hearing is an important step in that process, ensuring that we gather diverse perspectives from all stakeholders before these bills are finalized. These reforms are not just about taxation, they are about building a fairer, more efficient, and growth-oriented tax system that supports businesses, encourages investments, and ultimately improves the lives of Nigerians.
The ongoing tax reform effort include 4 key bills: the Nigerian Tax Bill 2024, the Tax Administration Bill, the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. From Abuja, Kunle Ujo, Galaxy TV.
Moving on to other stories. Coalition of Niger Delta ex-agitators for good governance in collaboration with the Ijaw community on Monday stormed the National Assembly to condemn a recent protest against the Presidential Amnesty Program (PAP) Administrator Dr. Dennis, dismissing the allegations against him as baseless. The peaceful protest, which took place at the National Assembly complex in Abuja, coincided with Dr. Otuaro's first anniversary in office set for March 15, 2025. Despite the demonstration, the protesters reaffirmed their support for President Bola Tinubu's decision to appoint Otuaro, highlighting his achievement in the Niger Delta region. Speaking on behalf of the coalition, Comrade Gabriel Patterson emphasized that Otuaro's leadership has restored hope in the Niger Delta, contributing to increased oil production and regional stability.
I express our unwavering support for President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. This comprehensive blueprint for national development has installed renewed confidence in the administration, in the administration's ability to address the complex challenges facing Nigeria. We also wish to extend our vote of confidence in Dr. Dennis Otuaro, the administrator of the Niger Delta Presidential Amnesty Program.
Correspondent Kolojo reports that the group also urged the federal government and the National Assembly to increase the budgetary allocation for the Presidential Amnesty Program, arguing that expanded funding would enhance the program's impact on ex-agitators and beneficiaries.
Of the Presidential Amnesty Program Scholarship Scheme. Firstly, I would like to thank the President of this country, His Excellency Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his wisdom in appointing Chief Dr. Dennis Burusu to be the substantial administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program. I want to state that this is the first time in history that we are getting it right in the Niger Delta.
We are here to thank the President for what he has done for Dr. Dennis Otuaro, for the good work he has done, for bringing him to serve the Niger Delta people, and so far he has been doing well. We are also asking him to increase the budget for the Presidential Amnesty Office. And we are also thanking Otuaro for the good work he has done, and we want him to do more.
Now to other stories, Dr. Loki Ayedatiwa and his deputy Dr. Laide Adelami have been inaugurated as governor and deputy governor of Ondo State for the next 4 years. The Chief Judge of Ondo State, Justice Olusegun Odushola, performed the ceremony at the Akure Sports Complex. The colorful ceremony, which was witnessed by their immediate families, also had in attendance politicians from across the country. Taking the oath of office as the seventh democratically elected governor of Ondo State, Ayedatiwa vowed to devote himself to the well-being of the people of the state. He assured the people that nobody will be discriminated against on account of political, cultural, religious, gender or ethnic propensities. The governor acknowledged his predecessor, late Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu's son, who worked tirelessly to develop Ondo State and for choosing him as his deputy then.
We consolidate on our enviable record as one of the safest and most secure states in Nigeria. We shall continue to uphold the rule of law and promote independent judiciary and efficient administration of justice in our state. Our courts must remain a beacon of hope and justice for the common man. We will improve agricultural productivity, enhance access to markets and credit for farmers, invest in rural infrastructure, and promote the development of the blue economy.
Advise him in a very sober moment, thank God Almighty, and remember that God is expecting dividends from him. That dividend is selfless service to the people of Ondo.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Alausa, has emphasized that the Universal Basic Education Program is solely the responsibility of states and requires strong collaboration with relevant agencies to tackle challenges in the basic education subsector. Speaking at the quarterly meeting of UBEC Management and SUBEB Chairman in Abuja on Monday, they highlighted the importance of foundational education for influencing other educational tiers and contributing to national development. Correspondent Kolojo reports that the Minister of Education, who was represented by Senior Special Assistant Dr. Ismaila Ediatu, said the Federal Ministry of Education is committed to enhancing teacher quality, improving school environments, ensuring adequate instructional materials, and implementing effective quality assurance system.
Let me reiterate here that the implementation of the BEC program is entirely responsibility of the state and requires strong collaboration with all relevant agencies, the various challenges facing the basic subsector.
Early Earlier in our remarks, the Executive Secretary of the Universal Basic Education Commission, Aisha Garba, emphasized the need to prioritize basic education through effective collaboration at national and state levels, both within and beyond the education sector.
Nigeria still has one of the highest number of out of school. Nigeria still has poor quality of education, especially at the basic level. We must work together to address these challenges in the issue of financing for basic education, infrastructure, quality of education, ensuring relevance and availability of learning materials.
Like any other quarterly meetings, aims to discuss the challenges and solutions in the basic education subsector. I am confident that our discussions today will dwell on the strategies to enhance the quality of basic education in Nigeria.
You'll still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. And now seen in Washington, D.C., tells International Monetary Fund and World Bank to stop lending money to government not accountable to their citizens. Details of that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with thoughts on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTV News. You can follow and interact with thoughts on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page as Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Now to judicial matters. The Federal High Court Abuja was on Monday told that the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, did not participate in all the transaction that led to the purchase of 550 million naira in Maitama, Abuja by one Shehu Bello. The court was also informed that Bello's name never featured in all documents relating to transactions, including the title deed. Correspondent Kolojo reports that a witness of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Olusegun Joseph Adeleke, gave the evidence while testifying in the money laundering charges against the former governor. Adeleke, who is the general manager of AFA Properties Limited, was led in evidence by EFCC lead counsel Kemi Pinero-san. He had narrated to Justice Emeka Nwite how the chairman of IFA Properties Limited, Fabian Nwora, invited him to transactions by Shehu Bello on the purchase of the property located at number 1 Ikogose Street in Maitama, Abuja. The FCC lawyer then mentioned another property at 5th Avenue in Gwaripa and told the witness to tell the court what he knows about it. Responding, the witness said the property was purchased by one Nuhuru Muhammad for 70 million naira and was paid for through a bank transfer. He was asked if he remembered which bank the money came from, but he said no. Also, the defense counsel, Bodunde Saudi, cross-examined the witness, where he admitted having transaction with Shehu Bello 3 times. The second witness identified herself as Williams Abimbola, a compliance officer with the United Bank for Africa, said she had a subpoena with her, which the lawyer sought to tender as evidence. Meanwhile, the case had been adjourned to March 6 and 7 for continuation of trial. Still on judicial matters, a federal high court in Abuja and presided over by Justice Emeka Winter have thrown out a suit seeking to compel the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi-San, to stop the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) from investigating allegations of fraud and economic crimes allegedly committed by a businessman Abubakar Ismail Isa. The judge dismissed the case on the ground that the request of the businessman lacked merit and substance, delivering judgment in a fundamental rights enforcement suit against AGF and the FCC. Justice Uite held that AGF has enormous power to take over proceedings in criminal matters, but held that such enormous powers are not at large. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that Justice Uite said under Section 43 of EFCC Act 2004, the anti-graft agency was not under any obligation to take advice from any ministerial agency to drop its statutory powers to initiate investigations into any alleged economic crimes. The businessman at the suit sued the AGF and the FCC, complaining of unlawful investigation into some business transactions involving him and others. However, in his judgment, Justice Nwite held that Section 174, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution, upon which the case was predicated, did not confer any power on the AGF to nominate any agency to conduct investigation into economic crime and financial breaches. Justice Nwite said that Section 43 of the EFCC Act 2004 has no ambiguity to the fact that the anti-graft agency shall have powers to initiate investigations into alleged economic crimes and initiate prosecution of those indicted in the process. He subsequently dismissed the suit for want of merit and substance. Now to security. The Anambra State Police Commissioner, CP Yoru Tugo, has called on residents of Anambra State to shun the Monday sit-at-home order imposed by a secessionist group by going about illegal businesses. The police commissioner made this known when he led officers and men of the command on a sensitization tour of markets and streets in Awka, the state capital. According to him, the only authorized authority to pronounce a sit-at-home whenever it is necessary is the state governor, as he enjoined everyone to go about their normal businesses.
Are ready to buy and sell. In the Anambra are people of buying and selling, and you cannot pick a day and stop them from buying and selling. So I'm calling on all in the Anambra to start coming out. There is no more sit at home. Sit at home is gone. If there's any reason to sit at home, His Excellency Mr. Governor will announce a day for sit at home. But for a group of persons to discourage someone from coming out to buy, coming out to sell, that is.
Now to health matters, Benue State government has officially declared Lassa fever outbreak in the state, having recorded 40 suspected cases and 3 deaths so far between the month of January and February 2025. The State Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Yama Otese, made the announcement while briefing newsmen and stakeholders from National Center for Disease Control and World Health Organization. The Health Commissioner observed that the declaration was made following a comprehensive risk analysis conducted, which represented a case fatality rate (CFR) of 60%, stating that this is a call to action to safeguard Benue people. The National Incident Manager of National Center for Disease Control, Dr. Yetunde, says the center remains committed to providing support to Benue people and help obviate its challenges, just as other stakeholders call for proper hygiene and clean environment to prevent the viral illness.
The state has battled recurrent outbreaks of Lassa fever over the past 4 years, with each successive year recording a higher number of cases than previous one. This year we have recorded already 40 suspected cases, with 5 confirmed cases and 3 deaths. This represents a case fatality rate of 60%, in light of these alarming figures, officially declare a Lassa fever outbreak in Benue State.
NCDC remains committed to supporting and promoting the health of Benue residents, everyone that is living in Benue, and of course protecting the health of Nigerians. But currently we are also trying to see how, efforts can be sustained temporarily, depending on our discussions with the CMD and also the Commissioner and the Governor, to see how that challenge of power can be solved.
And you may Lassa fever affects those in the town more than those in the villages. Our focus now is to make people care about environmental and sanitation better than.
In other related health concerns, Dr. Tese also confirmed the prevalence of snake bite of about 109 cases within 2 years in one local government alone, necessitating governors to procure anti-venom to help prevent death among the people.
Within 2 years, from one center, General Hospital, Bajimba, 199 cases of snake bite. And General Hospital, Bajimba is not the only place that those patients seek for treatment. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, has secured free anti-snake venom through the effort of the Federal Ministry of Health for our dear people of Benue State.
Now to the story teased earlier. The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC in Washington, D.C., United States, told the International Monetary Fund (IMF) and World Bank to stop lending money to governments not accountable to their citizens. According to NLC, such loans only deepen the crisis of governance and push nations further into the abyss of debt and underdevelopment. President of NLC, Joe Ajero, who stated this, also told the global financial institution how their economic prescriptions over the years had continued to worsen poverty and undermines Nigeria's development. Ajero, who spoke at the 2025 high-level meeting of the Global Labour Movement, the IMF and WB at the World Bank office in Washington, pleaded with the Bretton Woods institution to stop imposing blanket austerity measures but support developing nations in crafting progressive tax policies that protect the poor and vulnerable. In the presentation titled Progressive Taxation and Fiscal Consolidation, Ajero told his audience that they represent the voice of those who are marginalized and those who are supposed to benefit from taxation, but who have unfortunately in many countries begun to suffer adversely from taxation. President Bola Tinubu has been urged to intervene comprehensively in the protracted dispute between Depot Chairman of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. This call comes a year after the forum demanded the settlement of over 100 billion naira in breaching claims owed by the NMDPRA. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the Gombe Depot Chairman Abdul Ibrahim expressed dismay over what he termed deliberate disregard of the request by the NMDPRA, despite explicit assurances to honor the payment owed. Ibrahim highlighted that the outstanding debt are funds rightfully belonging to marketers deducted at the point of product payment to cover their breaching allowances.
We hereby call on the federal government of Nigeria, headed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to fully intervene in this prolonged dispute between Depot Chairman of the Independent Petroleum Market Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
Yaga Alazan, chairman of the 21 government depot in Nigeria, issued a 7-day ultimatum for the demands to be met. It warned of imminent actions if the NMDPRA fails to comply, effective Monday, February 24, 2025. Alexander Hirsch told IPMAN members nationwide to uphold their resolve and adhere to the law as they await redress from the NMDPRA.
NMDPRA did not pay our money within 7 working days. We are going to withdraw our services in all over the country, and we are going to withdraw our tanks from loading and discharging. And at the same time, we are going to lock all our stations across the whole Nigeria.
Now to other stories. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has declared that his government will continue to support educational advancement both locally and internationally, as education remains one of the major pillars of his administration. The government thinks that his government has been doing a lot of things in the education sector towards improving primary, secondary and tertiary education in the state, adding that it also believes that foreign education can help the state to achieve its vision of economic expansion and development. Governor Makinde, who was represented by his Chief of Staff, Otumba Segun Ogunwuyi, made this statement at the second edition of International Study Abroad Fair ISAF 2025 with the theme Global Mastery, Local Impact, Empowering Mind Through International Education, held at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan. Governor Makinde, while delivering the keynote address entitled Enhancing International Education Experience for Local Economic Development, noted that international education is not only about getting a degree abroad, but about gaining exposure to new ideas, mastering advanced skills, and building network across continents. Delivering his goodwill message with the title Equipping the Next Generation, International Education as a Tool for Empowerment, Speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Adibo Ogundoyin, affirmed the importance of education to economic growth and development of the nation.
For us as a state, one of our pillars is basic education. And as a state, we are doing a lot in terms of basic education as well as tertiary. But we are also a very strong believer in the fact that having a foreign education also helps. We want to make our citizens global citizens, but that can impact locally. And when this summit came up, we felt as a state we should be part of it.
There's a need to close the gap between the education here and the one that we have overseas. This is to help the students, transiting from the local education into the foreign education, to enable them to adapt quickly and enable them to understand better what is going on around them.
We aim to equip our youth with international exposure and the capacity to use that experience to drive development in our communities and nation.
You're still out to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. The Coalition of Concerned Southern Kaduna Citizens and Support Group has commended Senator Sunday Marshall Katang, who represents Kaduna South Senatorial District in the 10th Senate, for his instrumental role in securing a university for the region. Speaking at a press conference in Kafashan, the coalition expressed profound gratitude and unwavering confidence in Senator Katang, highlighting his leadership and legislative efforts with sponsored bills. His bill leading the University of Applied Science. In his address, Edward John Ota, convener, praised the senator's vocal stance on issues affecting his constituency. They noted that he has moved motions and sponsored bills addressing critical needs. The motion on the outbreak of diphtheria in southern Kaduna, a motion calling for federal intervention to aid ginger farmers following the 2024 ginger blight outbreak, which led to the release of 1.6 billion naira as intervention. The government of Edo State has taken the free shuttle bus initiative of the state governor Monday Okpebolo to the state capital of Benin City. This is coming after the state governor promised to introduce the palliative measures as part of his campaign promises to the people of the state. Speaking on the free bus shuttle, the chairman of Edo State Asset Recovery Agency, Kelly Okoboa, said he is in line with the governor's promise made to the people.
Written on the vehicle. You know, during the time of the election, the governor did me fit and bring this free ride for Edo people. And he also promised during the time of the campaign that after election, when God give me victory, that the vehicles will come back to the street. And that is exactly what we are seeing here this morning. And by the grace of God, when Apakomis that says anything, always do it. And that is why this vehicle, they are back to the street today, and by the grace of God, Edo people will witness more transformation.
Women journalists have been tasked on creating more awareness in helping to educate the public through their reportage and gender-sensitive reporting in order to promote a fair and just society. At a two-day training workshop organized for women journalists in Benue State by NAWOJ in collaboration with Norwegian Union of Journalists to train and help address the challenges with the theme Gender Equality and Safety, while emphasizing safety of women journalists in the course of their profession, noted that violence against women and girls, access to education, and for cultural and social norms such as forced marriage, female genital mutilation, discrimination and barriers placed against women's economic growth are the core of the challenges, particularly in Benue State, with violence in some parts of the state forcing women and girls out of school and exposing them to dangers including rape. The Principal Special Assistant to the Governor on Media, Publicity and Strategic Communication, Bridget Tikia, said the state government is working with stakeholders to address these challenges, including fine-tuning existing legislation to give women and girls access to education and more economic opportunities.
Solution to these challenges, journalists and all key stakeholders must play their parts with all sense of responsibility. This workshop, therefore, is another important opportunity to remind us as women journalists of our responsibility in gender-sensitive reporting, understanding gender-based violence, and avoiding stereotypes and biases. It is also an opportunity to amplify women's voices in our reports.
This training was developed by the International Federation of Journalists. They developed the manual and then trained women journalists all over Africa for this training. They are teaching us how to report safely, the issues like sexual harassment, how to combat it, our life balance with our work, how to go about it. So this training is about everything happening to women that we are already reporting. As it's happening to us, how we can manage it. Sexual harassment.
Women in society, especially in journalism, under his watch and under his leadership, he has appointed 6 women in his cabinet who are.
And I welcome all of you to this all-important workshop on gender equity and safety for women journalists. I want to particularly thank our facilitator for facilitating this workshop for us here.
Lagos State Signage and Advertisement Agency LASA has distanced itself from the collapse of billboard in Surulere, which caused injuries and harm to lives and properties of people in that vicinity. With regards to the incident, LASA has issued a statement sanctioning the organization that erected the billboard and is assured of continually ensuring structural integrity is maintained in the deployment of any advertising structure in Lagos, as billboards are capable of causing death or destruction, and such will not be allowed to take effect on the lives of people of Lagos State. LASA also notified the public that the billboard in Abati Barracks is not registered by the agency and therefore it is illegal. Prior to the incident, LASA had continually made effort to regulate all advertising structures within and around Nigerian military, police and the Air Force formation in Lagos, but were not given the required support to regulate advertising structures. In conclusion, the managing director of LASA, Prince Fatiu Akeolu, strongly urged all entities, the outdoor advertising practitioners, the military, Air Force and police formation to work with LASA in complying with all existing laws and regulations in billboard installation. Now, we move to the international desk for more news. This is news from the international scene. Germany's Friedrich Merz has pledged to achieve independence from the United States after a center-right alliance won parliamentary elections held amidst doubt about US President Donald Trump's commitment to Europe's security. Merz will face a complex negotiation with his party's traditional central-left rival to form a coalition government after ruling out the second-placed hard-right alternative for Germany, said that it would be his absolute priority to strengthen Europe so it does not have to rely on Washington for its defense. Merz said he was not sure that NATO in its current form by the time of the next meeting of the Transatlantic Military Alliance in June, or whether we will have to establish an independent European defense capability much more quickly. Merz Christian Democratic Union Christian Social Union Alliance won 208 seats with 28.6% of the vote in Sunday's election, preliminary results showed, followed by the AFD with 152 seats, 20.8% of the vote, doubling what it polled in the last election. The chief of the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned warmongers and authoritarians are suffocating human rights across the world. Speaking at the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva on Monday, UN Secretary General depicted a world where human rights were on the ropes and being pummeled hard, highlighting the devastating effects of conflicts, including in the Middle East, Ukraine and Congo. Guterres noted abuses linked to economics, technology, climate change, migration and gender. Guterres called out a morally bankrupt global financial system that favors profit over planet's protections. He also spoke of those who might exploit artificial intelligence to harm people and leaders who seek to demonize migrants or restrict women's rights. Speaking on the third anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Guterres said that the international community must spare no effort to bring an end to this conflict and achieve a just and lasting peace. The Gaza ceasefire is precarious and the world must avoid at all costs a resumption of hostilities, he continued. Gravely concerned over escalating violence in the occupied West Bank, he noted violence committed by Israeli settlers and calls for annexation, which he described as alarming developments. The Israeli military has launched several new raids across the occupied West Bank, intensifying a month-long operation that has killed hundreds of people and displaced thousands. During the raid on Sunday and into Monday, Israeli tanks were deployed in the occupied Palestinian territory for the first time in more than 2 decades. Reports that the army is planning to open a military corridor in the West Bank suggested an extended and expanded campaign. Israeli raids hit areas across the West Bank as bulldozers and armored vehicles continue to pound Jenin and Tulkarem, where large refugee camps are located. Soldiers were reported to have stormed Jenin from the west, besieging the refugee camp and the area adjacent to it. They also imposed a curfew in the town of Kapatiya to the south for a second day straight and stormed the nearby towns of Ali Yamoun and Burken. The Al-Quds brigades, the armed wing of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, reported on Telegram that it was fighting with Israeli forces in Jenin. Still on the international scene, the European Union has lifted select sanctions on Syria as part of an effort to support democratic development during the country's political transition. The bloc announced on Monday that it had had suspended restrictions on oil, gas and electricity along the sanctions on the transport sector, including aviation, with immediate effect. However, it cautioned that the decision could be reversed should Syria's de facto leadership not implement expected reforms. The EU also reinstated the possibility to fund and provide certain economic resources to 5 banks. Restrictions on the export of luxury goods to Syria for personal use will also be eased. The EU maintains a wide range of sanctions on entire economic sectors and individuals in Syria levied during the rule of ousted President Bashar al-Assad. The country's new leadership has urged the West to ease the restriction in order to help Syria recover from years of despotic rule and civil war. The EU said in a statement that its foreign ministers had made the decision to suspend select sanctions as part of effort to support an inclusive political transition in Syria and a swift economic recovery, reconstruction and stabilization. Japan and Philippines have agreed to boost military cooperation amid mutual concerns over China's growing assertiveness in the region. Japanese Defense Minister Jay Nakatani and Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. said on Monday that they had agreed to establish a strategic dialogue between their countries' militaries and high-level framework for defense equipment and technology cooperation. Speaking at a news conference at the conclusion of a 2-day visit the Philippines, Nakatani said he and Teodoro agreed on the need to enhance cooperation to maintain peace and stability in the region. He said the security environment surrounding the two countries is becoming increasingly severe and that it is necessary for a strategic partner to further enhance defense cooperation and collaboration in order to maintain peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific under a situation. Before the meeting on Monday, Teodoro said the two countries share the common cause of opposing unilateral attempts by China and other countries to change the international order and the narrative. Lastly, on the international scene, India and the UK have restarted free trade talks nearly a year after negotiations were paused ahead of general elections in both countries. Reynolds, the UK's Business and Trade Secretary, met his Indian counterpart Piyush Goyal in Delhi on Monday and kicked off the two-day discussions. The talks focused on advancing the negotiation and ensuring that the deal was balanced, ambitious and mutually beneficial. The countries have held more than a dozen rounds of negotiations since 2022, but an agreement has remained out of reach. Sticking points include high tariff in India on Scotch whisky and relaxing fees and visa rules for Indian students and professionals going to the UK. Talks are being held for the first time. The party came to power in the UK, and Reynolds says securing a deal is a top priority for his government. India is forecast to become the world's third largest economy in a few years. The ministers held a joint press conference over the meeting, but neither side offered a deadline for talks to conclude. Deadline set by former Minister Boris Johnson and Liz Truss has passed without an agreement being finalized. And that's it from the international scene. Coming your way next, entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News on Galaxy TV. My name is Gratitude Imokwede. Here are the rest of the stories for today.
Nollywood actress Adesowa Etomi had shared clips from her birthday celebration. It was reported a day back that Adesowa had celebrated her birthday by recalling the trials she faced in 2024. She recounted how she battled her paramesis, was admitted to the hospital, her husband underwent cancerous tumor surgery, and she had an emergency C-section. After surviving the aforementioned, Adesowa said the devil tried once again with her life as she had a harrowing healing process, but God saw her through. Her husband, Banky W, celebrating her, noted how he watched her grow and is excited for the world to see her shine. He promised that no matter what the future holds for them, he is hers and she is his. Adesowa, in a joint post with her husband, shared clips from her birthday celebration.
The question, and I ain't gonna lie, but I wasn't ready, still you took me by surprise. you wanna know if I will ever leave your side. But I will love you till the very day I die. Girl, I need you, I've been needing you like air. Don't know how I would survive without you there. I can scream it loud for the whole world to hear. And if they call me crazy, I don't care. You should know I won't go. That's the last thing you should worry about. Stay with me till eternity, and ask only one question: will people fall in love in heaven? In heaven. Hope we'll still be in love in heaven. Hey.
The movie star spends the day with her husband. In her caption, Adesua declared it the best birthday ever, as she stated that the simple things matters the most to her. According to her, her birthday was filled with good people, good food, and good vibes. Nollywood actress Regina Daniels has sent a message to her legion of online trolls. Taking to her TikTok to share a video of her appearance at Susan Channel's beauty event, Regina told her fans not to comment under her post if they have never cried in February before.
I'd rather be crying in a Bentley, sipping on Hennessy, drying on my tears with some $100 bills. Feeling down in Fendi's, but I got plenty money for the pain in the world. Chilling in the biz, just like Justin Bieber, cause I got the money, I don't care. And you can put that on my visa, roll me like a Caesar. You know now we global, bitch, I'm here.
She also told them to only comment if they can afford her clothes. For the past few weeks, it seems there has been tension between Regina and the politician husband, Ned Nwankwo, as the two hasn't been spotted together for over a month. A week ago, the internet was again with the news that Ned Nwankwo had allegedly impregnated another Nollywood actress, Chika Ike. The speculations would further fuel when Regina Daniels deactivated her social media page. To restore calmness, Nwankwo issued a press statement to discredit the rumors. The billionaire polygamist urged everyone to disregard his affair with Chika Ike, as he emphatically denied fathering a child. Nedu Wazobia denies fraud allegations regarding his scholarship foundation. He reaffirms commitment to education, philanthropy, and social impact. Nedu announces legal actions against false claims, tarnishing his reputation. The Nedu Scholarship Foundation aims to provide full scholarships to 1,000 underprivileged students. All funds were managed by a global recognized social enterprise, ensuring transparency. Nedu's philanthropic efforts extend beyond education and supporting families, women, and vulnerable individuals. He vows to defend his credibility while continuing his philanthropic mission. Nedu's management team, Talking Drums, had submitted financial documents for review. The foundation has raised significant funds, including 19 million naira in pledges and 41.1 million naira in direct donations. Nedu remains committed to making a positive impact in Nigeria through his philanthropic work. His social media platforms are strictly supervised to prevent misinformation and unauthorized posts.
Alright, that's all we have on entertainment news. Thank you so much for watching, and keep watching entertainment news on Galaxy TV. My name is Gratitude Mokwede. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.
And that is all we have for you. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Iribami Salako. Goodbye.